Hello, y'all. It's another episode of One Frame Off. I'm Brody.
I'm Jess.
Rose.
Sorry, I thought we were going in a line.
I'm like, wait, which one of us is going?
Yeah.
We're too polite.
Very polite. That's our one weakness.
Yeah. Or our greatest strength.
I don't know about too polite.
We're just
I think we're
the
just
right
polite
amount.
enough that we get by without having too many customers yell at us.
No.
No. I used to get screamed at a lot. How's everyone doing today?
I'm alright.
I'm good.
We just had some tacos.
We did.
Oh my God,
it's
Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday.
Whoa.
Rose brought us tacos.
We also wanted to get something to eat because this week it's all about food.
Yes.
Yes.
Not necessarily our favorite food movies, but the best that we could come up with.
Best.
No, hold on a minute. Brody would have a very strong opinion of one of them.
We'll get to that in a moment. Basically, we were thinking about doing a Thanksgiving episode, but we realized...
Oh, yes, happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Yeah.
Cheers to the beginning of...
It's cuffing season, y'all.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah, cheers to the beginning of the horrific nightmare that is Black Friday.
Yeet.
Family coming into town for Christmas.
I will be flying to see my family for this Thanksgiving, and I'm actually really excited about it. I'm usually not, but I am this year.
Yeah, we kind of came to the conclusion that not everyone loves the holidays. Not everyone loves having a big meal with some extended family or having to shop around a whole bunch. But everyone likes food. And that seems to be like the
for
one
the most part,
For
everybody likes food. Like I could comfortably say 95% of the human race enjoys food.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, it's also, this season's the best season for restaurants, though.
That's true.
Yeah.
Everyone...
Not for my wallet, but definitely for the service industry for sure.
Oh my god, yeah.
But anyways, we got a lot of food movies, a lot of opinions, a lot of hot takes on what we've seen in the media. But before we do that, what are we all drinking?
Ooh, I'll start off.
Before we get to food, what are we drinking?
Yeah, just as important as your holiday food is going to be your holiday adult beverages. Right now, I'm drinking the Sycamore Tangyland IPA. It is another local North Carolina beer. Tangyland, similar to the Fantasyland, but it's a little more citrusy.
They don't know where great...
Cider Boys is from Michigan, I believe. They make a ton of good cider in Michigan.
Another New England cider. This one is their Grape Stomp. If you like grape juice, then this is an adult version of the grape juice. That's not wine.
And I went and got me a tall boy. I got Hazelnut Brown Nectar from Rogue Brewing, who I don't know.
They're from the Midwest, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm thinking Indiana. It's something like that.
Just the
I can't remember. It's a Midwestern beer. It's good. They have a sriracha stout that I'm really fond of.
That's interesting.
And the bottle, the bomber, is a gigantic bottle of sriracha. And the top is the little sriracha logo. I have the bottle somewhere around.
Does it have like the little
the rooster? Yeah.
Like the little pointy top to it.
No, I don't think that would be practical for like shipping, but the rooster is on there.
All right, so there's a rooster.
Yeah, no, I mean like from a distance, it looks like a giant beer bottle that's filled with sriracha. It's really dope.
What?
Yeah,
that sounds horrendous.
It's awesome. Horrendous? No,
horrendous,
it's delightful. Did you try the Ghost Pepper IPA at the bar?
Ooh yeah.
Oh, it's burned so good.
So when we say the bar, we mean the restaurant that we all work at. It's a craft
beer sort of
beer garden
type area.
Beer garden-esque.
Mm-hmm.
In suburbia.
We have a bunch of random beers, ciders.
Always random, always some funny stuff in there. So that's kind of where we got our snooty beer opinions from.
It's not snooty.
Those two got their snooty beer opinions. I got my snooty cider opinions from that.
Oh, you got your snooty ciders?
Yes, I got my snooty ciders. Look,
say that 3 times fast.
Snooty ciders.
That was adorable. Can we loop it?
Brody,
if we ever do start making a brewing company, we got to make the snooty cider.
Oh, absolutely.
It would be a rosé cider.
Oh,
just to be cute.
I also want to, and I don't know if you guys do a lot of this. I know, Brody, you do because you edit all of our podcasts. Mm-hmm. But I've been listening to a lot of them lately. And I would like to apologize to anybody that listens for how much I say and like. I can't help it.
Don't apologize for that. That's just
we are not scripted. We are literally off the cuff, pretty much everything. And unfortunately, that's going to lead to me saying and like a lot.
Except for our research, we do have
And absolutely.
notes.
Mhm.
We do have notes with us for our research, but literally it's just a short glance of what information do I need? Ah, yes. 1942.
Yeah,
That's the year.
we
Yeah.
spend like a good day or two watching movies, researching fun facts, and then we get on here and we start recording. It's like, and go.
And I forget everything that I've tried to prepare for.
Yep.
But now we have a whiteboard.
Mm-hmm. Yay, a whiteboard.
And what is on that wonderful whiteboard, Brody?
I mean, right on top there, it says chef.
Ooh, let's talk about Chef.
So, Chef from, I forget the year, but it was Jon Favreau's big foodie movie and also one of my favorite comfort movies. I've seen that like 5 times. Jess?
I watched it Sunday night. Yeah, and I absolutely loved it. It really. I'm sorry, Rose, but it's truly a wonderful movie.
I've watched it 0 times, so I have no clue what it's about.
It's definitely worth a watch, though.
It's really quickly. It's about Jon Favreau's character who runs a very prestigious restaurant in LA,
Mhm.
and Dustin Hoffman is the evil GM/owner who wants to keep the menu the way that it is because that's what's been keeping customers happy.
He's the fun police
Yeah.
type of
Well,
character.
actually, I left my notes in the other room, but I do remember writing down, like, actually, from a business standpoint, I agree with Dustin Hoffman 100%. I mean, if that was my restaurant, you know.
I mean, you just managed our restaurant.
My opinion is totally skewed from my own experience, but I do, from a business standpoint, actually do agree. I agree with Dustin Hoffman, but
So what did he do?
well, it's kind of similar to another movie we're going to discuss later, but of course the movie starts with the night. It's like, oh, a really famous food critic is coming to the restaurant, of course, and we need to impress him, but oh, we have to cook the same menu that we've always cooked.
Yeah.
There's the conflict right there. Jon Favreau's character, we'll call him El Jefe. I can't remember his name. He's the boss.
Chef Carl Casper, is it?
Yes, it is Carl Casper.
Carl
Thank
Casper.
you. Yeah.
Although he is El Jefe, so we will continue.
We can
referring-
continue just to call him El Jefe because it's the most
I'm
appropriate
sorry,
thing.
his name is Carl Casper?
Yeah, Carl Casper. Chef Carl Casper.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
I love that
It's a
name.
great name.
I mean, like, if there's anyone who wants to write a good character name, alliteration is all there.
Alliteration's always
Oh
wonderful.
my god.
Peter Parker, Walt Whitman, Walter White, yeah,
Wade Wilson?
Wade Wilson.
Yeah, Wade Wilson. So, anyways, it's the same story you've heard a million times. The movie isn't good because of the story. Like, that's
The
not.
plot is paper thin.
It is. It's okay. Okay. You're not gonna let me cook what I want. Like, fuck you. They obviously, the food critic hates the food, bashes Carl Casper all over Twitter and in the media. They kind of have like a feud going on.
Can I just say, like, there's a whole like thing about Carl Casper finally learning about Twitter from his son,
It's really good. Yeah. Tell Brody.
and I just love that. I just love the idea that a chef in LA could make an account, make one mean tweet, and overnight go get like verified million followers type of thing. That doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen, but
Yeah.
within the context of the story, he thought he was sending a private message to that food critic, but
Oh,
it was
yeah.
actually his first tweet. So it was a lot of inappropriate things that you thought you were saying to someone in private, when in actuality it was
How
posted
do
to
you
the
even
world.
get verified on Twitter?
I don't know.
There's a whole thing, like, you can spend a million years trying.
I know it's a
do
whole
it.
process, and that there's like, I actually follow what's her face from Game of Thrones. Oh my god, I'm blanking entirely. Maisie Williams on TikTok,
yeah.
and she's not verified, and she says multiple times, "As soon as I'm verified is when I'm quitting this app."
I've done it. I beat it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's wonderful. She's like, as soon as I'm verified, I'm fucking done.
But anyways, as soon as Chef Carl Casper, El Jefe, gets the bad review, he is like, okay, well, I'm going to invite this guy to a real dinner, and I'm going to make a million course meal with all the fancy fine ingredients. But then
It was very Latin American inspired. You could tell just from the way he's describing the flavors to the sous chefs when they came in to taste everything in that one scene, which I really loved, which reminded me of us with our head chef tasting food in the back for new dishes. And I was like, shit, like we all do that. So
good ass aiolis. And
yeah, exactly. So,
But
yeah,
then-
he wants to do his new menu, has it all planned out, is ready to roll, went to the farmer's market.
But
and
GM
is-
Dustin Hoffman is just like, nope, not doing that.
Well, he's not even just the GM, he's the owner, but he does all
my
of it.
bad.
He owns that shit,
Yeah.
and he owns Carl Casper. So he invites him back to the restaurant, and he gets the same meal served to him again that he hated to begin with, which I thought was really funny. Yeah, and
then Casper comes out again. He's just like real pissed off about like, how dare you dishonor my cooking and my craft, and I don't even like making this.
or how
bullshit.
fucking hard we work too. Like
This cake isn't raw
Yeah.
inside; it's molten.
I thought I really did love that. Like, you don't even fucking know how molten lava cake is made, you piece of shit. Like, that's not what he says, but it's pretty much what he says.
So that kind
Wait,
of
there's chocolate molten lava cake?
there's chocolate molten lava cake.
Yo! That's one of my favorite cakes. That's also really hard to make. I've tried
yeah.
to make it once. I love baking. I can't cook for my life. We're trying to
baking-
fix that.
baking
but
is
I've
like-
tried to make that.
Well,
and
there's
it
so
was
many
a
other elements that
fucking-
can fuck
there
you
was
over
a
with baking, unlike
goddamn
cooking.
Nightmare. I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Maybe we can try one night, that would be fun.
We'll give
But,
it a
like,
whirl.
Yeah, we can try it.
But that trying to make it, I understand your I identify with that.
hmm
Same character, same.
Yeah, that's sort of the catalyst that gets El Jefe into the food truck business. With,
Per his ex-wife's suggestion.
Mhm.
Wait, this guy still talks to his ex-wife?
Well, yeah, they have a kid together.
They have a kid together, yeah.
It's
Is it a good relationship that they have a kid together, or is
Yeah,
it a shitty
it's good.
relationship?
It's good. He's
Okay.
just really busy. Like
a lot of movies.
they try
will-
to portray it more negatively than I think it really is.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of movies will take this and be like opposing, like, how dare you take my son away from me, yada yada yada. But
No, they co-parent really well.
they're tight,
Okay.
yeah.
Their relationship is not a huge plot point in the movie at
And
all.
what's her face plays the ex-wife, the one who plays.
Sofia Vergara,
That's her. I was about to say the one that plays Gloria on.
Modern
Modern
Family.
Family.
I love that actress.
Oh,
She's
Yeah,
so
she's-
fucking talented.
She really is. She
But
really
no,
is. Yeah.
No, I'm just, some have really awesome relationships, others not. It's
No, they
nice.
they co-parent really well. They have a very positive relationship. He could be a more attentive father, but on the other side of that, he also was super busy building his career.
Yeah.
So,
So it's a good story of him and his son hitting the road on a food truck, sort of going on this big world tour of cooking for America, eating through America, and
Yeah, they drive. They go fly to Miami. Him and his ex-wife met in Miami. That's where he got his start in cooking. Was in Miami. So she's down there for business. The ex-wife, Sofia Vergara. He goes with her to take care of the child. And then it's like, oh wait, my other ex-husband could hook you up with a food truck.
I love
that's how
that.
people live their lives, I guess.
I love that. How she's just like, oh yeah, I know. You know my other ex-husband? Yeah. You two could totally work together.
we're
I
casual
love,
friends. We get
No.
lunch.
I love that
Oh,
relationship.
and side note, the other ex-husband's Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
I know I just blew out my audio, but oh my god, yes.
Yeah, it's Robert Downey
Robert
Jr.
Downey Jr. and that actress in the same movie.
Oh, yeah.
My
I don't think they
There's also-
share a scene together, but Robert Downey Jr. steals the show every
Scarlett
second. it's on
Johansson is
screen.
also in it.
Yeah,
No.
I
Yeah.
think
Really?
Well, it's John Favreau.
she's the front of house manager, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
John Favreau just went through his group chats with all of his
Yeah.
with all of his Avenger buddies, and it's like, hey, do you want to be in my food movie?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh my god, yes! I love this film.
And just as quick side note, we really gotta appreciate John Favreau for everything he's done for our favorite franchises.
It's true.
He is the guy
He's
who
like the one saving grace.
He's the one saving grace. He made The Mandalorian.
Oh, what a masterpiece.
So great.
Yeah,
He-
and they should have given John Favreau Star Wars a long time ago, and I'm not even a Star Wars person, and I know
I
that.
don't even know why they didn't. Okay, Brody.
and it was his idea.
Sorry.
It's fine.
It's true. It's
This-
true.
This is what our digressions are for. He was also the guy who said, hey, it would be really cool if Iron Man and Thor and all the other guys were in a movie together. Just giving that little idea. You can do whatever you want with it. So,
Why didn't they just give him the Avengers and not Fuckface? What's his name?
I don't
The
know-
Feiges?
I don't know. who
Yeah,
did that.
Feige.
yeah,
Why?
fuckface Feiges.
Yeah, why did they give Feige the Avengers? Why not give
Director and producer, like, very
The
different
Avengers
paths.
movies are fine. Like, if we're editing any of the MCU movies, I have least of a problem with those. Getting back to the point, though.
I'm just saying, different roles.
Different roles,
I know.
yeah.
I know.
So
But,
Chef Carl Casper makes a good-ass Cubano.
Yes, he
Okay.
makes a really good Cubano. And for those that are not familiar, that is mojo roasted pork, ham, Swiss cheese, pickles, and mustard on French bread or Cuban bread, and pressed.
Cubano.
Pressed cracker thin.
Yeah.
So it's like...
It's a panini.
It's a hot ham and cheese,
But I
with
didn't
way
say
better
that, Cubans, and
ingredients.
I'm really sorry. Yeah, I loved
Sorry, Cubans.
all the love for
just
Cuban food in this movie. I lived in Florida for years. My first restaurant I ever worked at was a Cuban restaurant, a local Cuban restaurant. So as soon as I saw that this is the direction they were going in, I instantly fell in love with everything because Cuban food especially is like, when it's made correctly and when it's authentic, it's like there's nothing else like it. Like there just really isn't. Media noches that they make also are very similar to a Cuban, except they're served on a sweet bread. And then, yucas and tostones. I can go on and on, but I absolutely loved the emphasis on Cuban food. But they refurbish a really shitty food truck, which it's a great scene, like him working with his son. His sous chef from LA. What's that actor's name again? We talked about it last scene.
No idea.
Okay, he's Mercutio from Romeo and Juliet, and he
Yeah.
was also Luigi in the Mario Brothers movie. I can't remember his name. I'm so sorry. He's so good in this, though. He goes down to help them. They fix up the truck, and then they drive it back to L.A., and that's where the bulk of the plot is, fixing up the truck and driving back to L.A.
While
So it's
learning to fall in love with his son and get back together with...
bond over cooking.
And bond over cooking, yeah.
Oh wait, does he and his ex-wife get together?
Oh, they get together.
They get married at the
It's-
end, of course. Spoilers.
It's all right.
But they teach little Percy how to work the line, which I absolutely loved. Like, he's in there pressing the Cubanos with everybody, getting in the shit. I loved it.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah, he should have married Scarlett Johansson.
I think so, too. I think it made more sense for the plot.
Like, if I'm writing a movie and I have Scarlett Johansson in there, I'm marrying Scarlett
Okay,
Johansson.
that's Scarlett Johansson and Sofia Vergara. I mean, it's a win-win.
Oh my god, this
Look.
is like every dorm conversation I've ever had.
Yeah, it's true.
Then there's me. He could just be chilling with his bro the entire rest of the movie. That's
No,
fine.
he need a woman.
Why?
He does in particular, because he's just miserable.
Because it's a movie, and at the end of movies, you have to find love and get married. That's how it's supposed to happen.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, not for Aladdin. I know we're devolving. Aladdin is the only Disney prince who doesn't get married at the end of his film.
I guess so. It's implied
Yeah,
there,
but they
right?
definitely
No,
consummated.
in the second
He becomes
movie.
Sultan.
No, he gets married in the second film.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen the second film.
I've never seen the second Aladdin.
There's
I
like
appreciate
three
your
of them.
devotion to Disney.
I know, I just completely devolved the conversation.
No, you're good. And hey,
Whatever.
that's a Rose's fun fact for the day.
Rose is
There
fun.
are three
We'll make it a
Aladdin
segment.
films.
Rose's fun fact. Put in the sound effect. There it is. Yeah, that's lovely.
The more you know.
A few things on this movie that I want to touch on, besides just how delightful it is how he translates his love for those he's cooking for into the food.
Yeah.
I'm not wording that correctly, but like he literally looks like he's fucking all the food that he's
The
making.
secret
His
ingredient is
passion.
love.
No, it's his passion for food.
It's extremely sexual. Like it's extremely
Okay,
sexual.
Allow me to amend that. His sexual passion for food.
Yeah, well, so me and Brody were talking before we started recording, and like, there's definitely the pasta scene with him and Scarlett Johansson, where
And the
she's
whole
just
time
fucking
Scarlett
the shit out of him
Johansson's
while he's
just-
making her pasta,
Just
which
looking
like
at him like
super
I'm gonna
relatable. I know.
Eat that pasta. So
I know. And then there's a scene where he's like making a grilled cheese for his kid, which first off, like there's like 4 or 5 different cheeses on there, and all I'm thinking is like, that is not a grilled cheese you make for a child. Most children would take a bite of that and be like, no thank you. Where's my Kraft American slices?
Yeah, it's
My
too
taste
sharp.
buds are too developed.
Too
I
sharp.
taste everything. I don't like it.
It's too sharp for them.
But he literally looks like he's making love to that grilled cheese
oh yeah.
as he's pressing it. But also, if you need to learn how to make a grilled cheese, I learned a lot from this.
That reminds me, like, the whole thing about... There is an anime, the cooking anime.
Oh right. Is that the one where the clothes like
Are we talking about
explode
Food
off their
Wars?
body?
Yeah!
That's Food Wars, I think.
That's
Food Wars.
I don't hate it.
it. Just sounds silly.
It is such a silly.
Brody, you would actually like it.
But you would probably like it.
Well, because his whole
I
goal is to
would.
make the worst food possible. But he's really talented, but it's his goal to make the worst food possible.
Okay.
In Food Wars, he's like, I want to make the shittiest food possible, but all my food ends up being like really fucking great,
Yeah.
and I look sexy as hell doing it.
And all these women
He's like
swoon
Bobby
over
Flay.
me. Just like Bobby Flay.
Just like Bobby
Yeah.
or at least
Flay.
how Bobby Flay thinks Bobby Flay is like.
Exactly. Or except with more like green chilies. One more thing we didn't mention about Chef, and we would be remiss not to, are beignets.
Oh, beignets.
Yeah, we have to mention beignets and how important they are between that father and son dynamic.
So for those who aren't Houdads or New Orleans people, beignet is sort of like a light cakey donut. It's still fried in oil, like all that, and like doused in powdered sugar.
Is that the thing that Tiana makes
Yes.
in Princess and the Frog?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Mhm.
That's what I
beignets.
was thinking when Jess said beignets. I'm like, isn't that Princess and the Frog?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
It's very New Orleans French-American fusion type of deal.
Also, what they do in the show, that the movie that I really like is every city that they stop and they take a little bit of that culture with them and take it on to the next city.
Oh, yeah.
So like they still sell Cubanos the whole time, but when they make it over to Texas, they've got beignets on the menu. And then in Texas, they pick up a ton of brisket, I believe, that's been
Mhm.
smoked for like 2 or 3 days.
Brisket.
Yeah.
And of course it would be brisket.
It's
in
Texas. Yeah, it's Texas. And they incorporate that into their Cuban food, and they, and I just really liked the
How
cross-cultural
How far
representation.
do they drive? 'Cause
from
you're
from Miami to LA.
So it is very literal cross country.
Like literally, yeah, from tip to tip.
all right then.
No, literally, like that, like that's like almost at the fucking bottom of Florida. Like,
Yep.
Tip to
Yeah,
tip
yeah. And so
in a food truck. It sounds like a fucking nightmare, but they made it look enjoyable.
It's so greasy.
What?
It looks it seems enjoyable, but it sounds like the worst thing you could ever do.
So if you were to serve this to your family, which of the dishes would you make from this film?
That I could reasonably make, or what would be the best?
I gotta say, I gotta give
Either.
give an immediate answer. The sexy pasta, the pasta aglio olio is the actual name of it. It's just pasta, parsley, lemon juice, garlic, chili powder, and olive oil.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would probably do Cubans, but they wouldn't be that good.
What's that?
The Cubanos, the sandwich.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're Cubans, Cubanos. I'm white. I'm gonna call them a Cuban.
Excuse me, I'll have one Cuban, por favor. And it's like, all right.
Nah, they know what I'm talking about. They don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Shoot, there was one more thing that I wanted to mention. Actually, my biggest gripe with this movie, other than the happy wedding at the end, is
How dare
I feel
you be
like
happy at the end?
I really feel like he jumped on getting that restaurant really quickly and wasn't food trucking for that long. He literally, within 6 months, opened up that restaurant. He didn't even food truck for that long. I know he got the offer he could have refused.
I
Yeah.
mean, it takes about, 3 days? 3 or 4 days of driving? At the very least, maybe 5 to get from Miami to...
I think they were out for like 2 weeks. They took 2 weeks to get there, right?
I would assume so. Like, if you're stopping around, like...
They're stopping
Yeah.
around and spending some time in the city.
Almost non-stop, it would take a few days. So I would imagine it doesn't really take that long to get there, 2 weeks. Yeah, I can see that.
Well, there's a scene at the end of the movie, which we didn't mention to you, where he's at, it looks like a food truck rodeo in downtown LA, and the same food critic from the beginning of the film stops by the food truck and gets the food, eats a few Cubans, and is like, this is the best shit I've ever had. You're cooking for yourself again. Hey, guess what? I have some money. I want to open up a restaurant and give you full control. It's like, wow, how convenient is that? And then it's literally 6 months later, it pans on the screen, and they're having a wedding at the newly opened El Jefe restaurant.
Oh, wait, so okay. I thought that he food trucks around and
No,
then opens a restaurant.
I don't think he food trucked for that long.
Around for about 2 weeks. And then
We'll give it an honest month to 2 months.
Yeah.
I think is realistic. And then, so he only food trucked, we'll say for a few months, because opening up a restaurant and developing a menu, 6 months, I mean, that's kind of fucking amazing, but they're professionals.
It's a good it's a feel good
no,
movie.
It's a feel-good movie.
I feel like you could do that though if you've opened a restaurant or if you've done it several times.
Well, I saw the interior and it was really small. like the main dining space maybe had 20 tables.
It's one of those new hip places.
That's
where
still larger than a dining that's still larger. 20 tables is still far more than what Ratatouille had at the end of that movie.
Is it? There was a lot of rats eating there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the human.
It was mostly for rats.
Tables.
It was mostly for rats.
Yeah, but the human tables.
I
I
don't remember what the.
I can't remember the end of Ratatouille. You're talking about like the very end, right?
Well, there's even micro restaurants and bars in Japan that only seat like 3 to 10 people. Like I'm not getting like hung up. We're not gonna get hung up on the size of the restaurant. It's
size doesn't matter.
No. It's the
you heard
food.
it here first, folks. Yeah, but I recommend Chef 100%. Food is definitely at the center of this movie, and also a father-son relationship, which is always nice to see.
It's about food. It's about loving what you do. It's about even if you fall out of love with it, you can find a way to fall back in love with it. And I don't know. It's positive. It's if you don't want anything like.
Granted, these people do have lots of income at their disposal. We will also bring that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got to max out a credit card for like 11 grand. Not a lot of people can do that, but still.
I also love that there's just like a bunch of like anyone who's worked back of house can like see all the fishy characters from Chef and be like, are you still drunk? Yeah, a little bit. I'll be fine for the day though.
Oh
yeah,
my God,
absolutely.
The amount of coworkers that we've had come in hungover or like
Shit, I was y'all's manager coming in hungover on a regular basis. I mean, you know.
Yeah, you work a double, have 2 hours of drinking, and then you open the next morning.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's the lifestyle.
You're gonna be feeling it.
I mean, this one in Ratatouille really show the back of house.
I killed a man with this thumb.
Rose, that's
my
a
favorite guy.
fantastic point and a perfect segue for us to discuss Ratatouille. The back of house scenes in Chef and Ratatouille are probably some of the most accurate of what a kitchen functions like, and even
training.
on the food truck and Chef, how a line functions and the skills that you need to function in those environments.
Yeah, and the amount of communication, like how in Ratatouille the head waiter or the head wait staff, that guy, he's always like back there talking to the kitchen staff.
Yeah.
The amount of time that servers talk to the kitchen just trying to figure out what the fuck is going on.
Oh yeah.
That is so
expediting
legit.
working
Especially if you
expo
have-
is not easy.
Yeah,
It's
especially if you
not.
have someone order like, I want medium shrimp, I want light onions, I want, and can you put it on a bun, but not a toasted bun? Like,
Yeah, and just hold all these things even though the menu says it's already mixed together.
and you gotta write it on like one ticket, and then there's just some dude who's like,
I
what
would
the
just like
fuck?
to throw this out here that if you are going to a nicer restaurants like the ones depicted in Ratatouille and in Chef, you should not make substitutions if it's not for an allergy. Eat the dish as
Yeah.
the chef intends.
Someone is in the groove making this food just the right way, and you just
you
gotta take it.
you will put your server in such a situation where they will get yelled at.
It's not even about that. It's more so like this is how the food is supposed to taste the best. So when you take out different elements, you are really fucking with how good that dish is going to taste.
I once worked at a taco place where we didn't have any like the make your own tacos, and everyone was mad about that.
Oh,
so there was one
that's
dude-
amazing though. I love that.
And
Yeah,
then-
so there was one dude who was just like fried fish, extra mustard, not a couple of pickles, some of those onions. It came out foul, and then was just like trying to find a manager. And was like, "This tastes bad," and I'm like, "Yeah,
Because you
Because you
customized
fucked
all
it
of it.
up.
that's a bad recipe you made."
Yeah, and the main message for everyone who doesn't remember Ratatouille, it's about a rat named Remy.
His name's Ratatouille.
No, his name is Remy. Who
I thought his
makes
name was
Ratatouille.
Ratatouille. My little brother called him Ratatouille. I know his name's Remy.
Yeah, his name's
Yeah.
Remy.
So Remy is a rat who has a dream of becoming a chef and gets the. They're all in France. He starts out in like the outskirts of Paris, which the amount of like passion to show different foods in like the Parisian region
Parisian
Is-
region.
is awesome.
Sorry, that was just tickling me a little bit.
Yeah, say that 3 times fast.
Parisian region.
It's pretty good, Brody.
Boom.
Nailed it. So yeah, the rat, he then says, fuck this shit, I'm out, and goes and like wanders around Paris for a while before he finds this.
How does he get to Paris again?
Through the pipes.
The sewers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gets separated from his family and all those guys.
Instead of finding them.
His rat pack, you know?
He does, so, okay, backtracking a bit. He starts with a pack of rats living in the outskirts, like...
They're like field rats, right?
Yeah, they're like scouring for whatever food they can find.
Yeah.
They pretty much live off this old broad that lives in a stone house by herself, but that comes back around later.
Yeah. And they get thrown out of the house because the lady's like, oh my god, there are rats on my property.
As she should.
Yeah.
As she fucking should.
As she fucking should.
Yeah, fucking vermin.
Yeah, we'll actually get to that point later.
Mm-hmm.
So they get, like, chased out of that region. Like, he ends up in the sewer, like, Remy ends up in the sewer system, gets thrown into the Parisian sewer system, and ends up in Paris. He finds this basically kind of like a failed... I want to say he starts as a dishwasher.
Are we talking about Linguini?
Linguini. I thought
Yeah.
was he a dishwasher?
He,
No, because he got the job
He was
because
mopping.
his uncle or something. Yeah.
His dad was one of the most famous chefs in all of Paris,
Mm-hmm.
and didn't know that was his dad.
What's the famous chef man's name?
Gusteau was?
Gusteau.
Yeah, Gusteau. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, but he's working at Gusteau's, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about Gusteau, Rose?
So Gusteau is like this fat, jolly, famous chef who's world-renowned, and everybody hails him. He has 5 Michelin stars, which is really fucking hard to do. And also, you don't keep your Michelin stars. It really depends. Like, you can gain them or you can lose them. It just depends on the season and the food critic.
But it really is like the biggest honor in the food
It
world.
really
Can
is.
you really get 5 Michelin stars?
You can.
Okay.
There are very few restaurants who actually have. Right now,
I've heard of like 2 or 3.
as of 2020, there's less than 5 restaurants that have 5 Michelin stars. That is how hard it is.
Oh, it should be, right?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's like the highest honor to get one.
It's really subjective, though, right? I mean,
Yeah, it depends on the food critic. And that's important because the food critic
Mm.
goes to Gusteau's, eats his food, and says, this is the worst shit I've ever eaten. Gusteau loses a star, and he's like heartbroken.
they also have the stars illuminated above the restaurant, which is really good.
I mean, you gotta advertise that.
Well,
Yeah,
no, but I
really.
mean, like, for kids, it's a really good representation of what's
Yeah.
going on with the story if they've been, like,
so he
yeah,
loses
not
the
paying
star
attention.
Because the
Or if you're like me, you have
critic is like,
ADHD.
oh, this is shit. And then he dies of heartbreak because he lost one of his stars, and his restaurant loses a 2nd star
Oh.
because he died.
Yep.
So the sous chef gets a letter and part of his will, Gusteau's will after Gusteau died, saying, hey, I want you to hire and train my son, who I legitimately didn't even know existed until this lady sent me a letter, but I'm dead and I can't do anything for him.
That's what the letter says, verbatim.
Yep.
Well, that's what the will is.
Look, I'm about to get dead. Just give him a job.
I'm about to get dead. I'm
No,
going to
he
put that in
dies.
my will.
His will is like, oh, I want my son to, know who his father is because I wasn't a part of his life. And I feel bad about it. And I didn't know until I was dying. So find my son, train him up, and make him, give him the restaurant.
Make them useful.
Yeah. So
And this
the
is
sous
Linguini.
chef- this is Linguini. He's talking about Linguini. So the sous chef finds Linguini. Is like,
Linguini, for those who haven't seen, is an adorable, tall, spindly, red-haired man.
he's amazing.
Yeah.
He's adorable.
But
He's a
he's
curly
useless.
ginger with the big Pixar nose.
But
yeah.
he's useless as a cook.
Yeah, he can't.
He can't cook for anything. So the sous chef reaches out to him and is like, look, I can give you a job. I can try to train you or whatever. He ends up as a dishwasher.
Yeah.
And he meets...
Which is also a fair way to start in the restaurant if
Oh,
you're
yeah.
cleaning back a house. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, because dishwasher does a lot of the prep as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, they
if
do.
if you're bored and don't do anything, you're either put online
Well, you're
to
going to
help
peel potatoes.
peel potatoes,
Yeah,
put
chop
online,
veggies.
not prep. It doesn't matter. You're going to be all integrated into the
machine.
preparation.
Mm-hmm.
The restaurant machine.
And so the chef that he works with, what's his fucking name?
Oh, the little guy?
No, the lady.
Oh, the lady.
Oh, I can, and she's my favorite character from this movie, actually.
Colette.
Sous Chef puts Linguini with Colette to try to, like, see if he's worth putting on.
Well, they're trying to fuck over Colette, too.
Yeah, I know. He hates Colette because Colette is, like, this strong-willed, kick-ass lady in the kitchen and will take control from him the minute that he shows any kind of weakness around her. Because she's done it before, apparently.
Yeah, like, she's definitely better.
She knows what she's doing.
She's amazing. So
that's a setup for Linguini.
And then Remy comes in. So
Yep.
Linguini gets fucked over and is like, oh, I'm never going to make it as a chef. At least I have a job as a dishwasher. I'm kind of fine with that. Remy sees him and is like, oh, wow, this guy sucks. Let me help him.
Yeah.
And he ends up, like, coming home to Remy making food. And he's like, this fucking rat?
Well, just to backtrack a little bit, Linguini kind of catches him. It's like, oh shit, rat in the kitchen. I gotta go out and kill him. But it's like, wait a minute, this rat can talk to me, and we can maybe try to work something out because he can cook and I can't cook.
Well, yeah, after he catches him, comes home one day and finds Remy in the middle of the kitchen, and he's like, oh shit, you can cook. Cool, teach me. Teaching does not go well, so Remy's like, okay, I can pull on your hair and bite you to make you do the proper things.
So he drags him like a giant robot, on top of his head.
I was thinking a marionette.
And grabs like 2 strands of his hair
like
to control him.
Yeah. Can we just take a sec? It's so weird how they're just pulling his hair, which is supposed to direct him, but he looks fucking possessed.
And nobody calls it out.
No.
Nobody calls out his weird behaviors.
Well, he was weird to begin with, though. Like honestly, if there's a few people we work with that I can say for sure that if they just started walking around like that, you'd be like, guess that's what they're doing now.
What would you do if you're just going to a 3 Michelin star restaurant and you just see a little bit of the back of house, and there's a guy who just like limbos underneath and just contorts his arms to stir a pot.
I would go there all the time.
And it's not even, he's like lifting up all the spices.
They got the freaky rubber man doing the line today.
Then he's like, the sous chef is like, this guy is too weird. I really don't think that he is the heir to the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets a lock of hair at one point from Linguini, and the lab sent it back and was like, this is rat hair. And
Linguini's a rat?
And he's like, no, that's not rat hair. He's like, what? There's not a rat in my kitchen. The sous chef gets mad because the head waiter is like, no, we had to send it back to the lab, arguing that whether or not it's rat hair. Sous chef's like, what? No, there is no rat in my kitchen. What the fuck are you talking about? He gets really up in arms and really starts like watching to the point of stalking.
He basically goes crazy trying to discover his secret.
Prove whether or not he's like being controlled by a rat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, huge Mouse Hunt vibes. I don't know if anybody here has seen Mouse Hunt.
Yeah.
It's probably one of my favorite Nathan Lane movies besides Birdcage.
So he like finally fesses up and tells Colette about the rat, and Colette's all mad at him. And Sue, they had gotten like kind of sort of not quite gotten rid of the sous chef yet, but they're working on it.
Yeah.
So the Linguini gets really popular for all his cooking, and they're like, oh my gosh, you're Gusteau's son. They never knew. Of course you can cook just as great because your dad, and it must run in your DNA or something. Well,
Linguini started off as like not necessarily the saucier, but he made all the soup, which is how it all started. He made this one really bomb-ass soup that they added to the menu, and everyone from all over came to try Remy's famous soup.
Which naturally leads to Linguini kind of getting a big head, being like, yeah, that's what's up. I don't have a rat telling me what to do. I did all this myself.
Yeah, I made this soup.
So the food critic comes back, and he's like, look, I intimidated your father. I'm going to intimidate you. Cook me the best dish that you could ever make. And I'm very partial to ratatouille. So then he's like, oh, I can make you the best ratatouille you've ever fucking had. And the food critic's like, I look forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Maybe like the most iconic.
I think they highlighted.
Scene.
I think they highlighted earlier in the movie how Remy makes his way into the house that they live near in the Paris countryside to get saffron.
Yeah.
And well, I think that's what they put in the ratatouille that reminds the critic of his childhood is the saffron.
So, side note, saffron is the most expensive spice out there.
Yes.
And it can run, like, depending on the weight of it, can run several $100s.
If I'm not mistaken, it's like the tiny little like strand that comes out of a specific flower.
Yeah, it looks like a
it's
little
only
red
in
thread.
season for a short time, and one of those small little red threads could do you like $20.
Yeah.
$20,
Mhm.
and depending on the weight, like I said, it can run upwards to hundreds.
Although I will say that one little thread, if you put that in the water when you're making rice, it'll make it amazing.
Yes.
It is.
It does its job really well.
Spice of life right there.
It really is.
But we were talking about him eating the ratatouille and flashing back to
His childhood.
childhood
We're talking
home.
about the food critic. So
Yeah.
they make Linguini finally confesses up to Colette, and Colette's like, "Oh fuck, okay, fine, you're useless in the kitchen. Well, we have to make this work. Everyone else, fucking quit on you because they're not happy with you." And Remy's clan is like, "Oh hey, look, we know we treated Remy terribly, and we didn't mention this at all." But Remy's relationship with his clan is actually pretty shitty.
Yeah, his father and his friend are not really accepting
brother.
of. Is it his brother?
His brother
I thought
is
they were
like
friends.
kick-ass. No, his brother is really awesome, and he doesn't encourage it, but he does, accept it. He's like, "All right, Remy, you're gonna do this with or without me. I prefer you do it with me."
Well, his brother's just like, you make some good ass food, and all
Yeah,
that.
and
He's
like,
a foodie.
Oh,
The
I'll
dad's
go
not
with you.
into it though.
Dad is like absolutely fucking.
Yeah, they're
not.
gonna
Your
fucking
job
kill
is to sniff this food and tell us if it's poison or not. Because he had
Yeah,
a really
that's-
good nose. We
and
never
then-
mentioned that. Remy has an amazing nose.
Yeah.
He
yeah.
can sniff anything and know what's going to taste good with it. Like, is it off? Which is what he uses
Yeah.
to
In the
cook
very
such
beginning,
amazing
when they're
food.
living at the old lady's like brick and mortar house, Remy's main job was poison checker, which was because like his nose, his like amazing sense of smell, he can tell whether or not a food is poison.
Which is a really good trait for a lot of chefs. Not specifically just for poison, but just
Just like being able to smell and know what's in it is outstanding.
or just understanding like the quality of something based
Yeah.
on smell.
So fast forward, Colette's like, "Shit, we have to make this work." And Remy's clan is like, "Oh, hey, you know what? We've had a change of heart. We're here to help." And one thing that I will say, the scene that follows is this entire clan of rats going through the dishwasher.
Because they're rats and they're dirty, they gotta get clean, they gotta wash their hands and all that.
Yeah. This movie, he would never, Remy and Linguini would never have made their timeline because all the rats would be dead.
Yeah, those fucking industrial dishwashers.
They get really hot. It just depends on
And
what
the
they're
chemicals?
doing. Yeah, the chemical. They either get super hot to sanitize, or it's pumped full of a ton of different chemicals.
If this movie was true to realism, those rats would come out with
Dead.
no hair and dead.
But this is when the movie gets like super Disney off the rails because it's like not Beauty and the Beast, Snow White, where instead of all the animals helping you clean, it's like a pack of rats just working in a 5-star kitchen trying to pump this food
I
out.
just have a personal digression I want to go to. I remember seeing this in theaters with my mom, and the whole time she's just nauseous because she worked in kitchens and she's from New York, which is like the crazy rat capital of the world. Yeah. The closest thing they have there is Pizza Rat. And I swear to God, when we got to the end scene where these teams and swarms of blobs and rats just are like covering like every inch of the kitchen, I just saw her like almost faint, and I'm like, "Ma, you good?" And it's like, "No,
I want to go home.
Yeah.
no, this movie's disgusting."
The ratatouille that they cook in the movie is a legitimate recipe. That recipe was actually developed. Shoot, I don't remember the name of the chef, but
I was under the impression that ratatouille, it's a Parisian peasant dish, and it's been around for forever.
yeah, but the
Yeah.
specific dish that they make in the movie, it's been around forever. Like there are different versions of it, But the version that they make, that layered version with all the vegetables and how
how thinly sliced they are and the way they're presented in that circular pattern. Because the times I've had it, it's always like you do your best in a dish, you know.
Yeah. Everyone tried to do the thin layer ratatouille, but a good chunky ratatouille is nice.
A good chunky ratatouille is just as good.
But like the dish that they make takes 4 hours to make,
or 2 hours and 500 rats.
Yes.
Yeah, really. No, not even 2 hours. Just like. 15 minutes.
The prep is done. The prep is done, you know.
But you still got cook time.
I would imagine the cook time is not that long.
It's just
maybe
vegetables.
like 2 hours.
Yeah.
No, like a slow cook, like a nice slow cook.
350, maybe an hour, hour and a half.
350. I was thinking like
whatever. We're not chefs.
315. No.
On a real.
I guarantee you the prep is what takes. Well, we don't know the recipe. Email us or comment if you know how to make this dish and can.
This specific version of this dish, I know it takes 4 hours to make.
Come here, make it for us, and then we'll believe you.
Yeah.
Teach us how to make.
I'm not going to believe you until I can try it for myself.
But so they serve it to the food critic. Food critic has this flashback to his childhood, and he goes, "Oh my gosh, best dish I've ever made."
Yeah.
He gives them at least
He has a flashback to his childhood because the food critic's mom is the old lady that lives in the house
with the shotgun.
Where Remy and his clan lived outside of. The food critic's mother, that was the old lady at the beginning of the movie. Thus, the addition of the saffron that Remy's obsessed with for the entire movie.
Oh yeah, no,
that
he does not let this shit go.
Immediately transports the food critic back to his childhood. And I just love the connectivity of all of that.
That was a detail I totally missed when I was a kid watching it, and only really put that together like in the past year or so.
Yeah, you will only notice it if you remember what the house and the area.
Yeah,
it's really subtle.
It's only like a couple seconds.
Yeah, it's not super important to the plot, but like I said, the connectivity of all those things is really nice.
So the food critic is like, "Oh my gosh, this is the best ratatouille I've had in a commercial kitchen. I'll give you a star back." He actually gives them one of the stars
and
back.
he was like, "Well, I'd love to meet the chef."
Yeah.
And he's
and
just
like,
"You're gonna have to wait a while."
You're gonna wait until everyone leaves.
Yeah.
And we're all closed for the night. Then you can. So he tells the
Does he come around back?
No, they take the chef's hat, and Luigi is holding the chef's hat in his palm. He takes the chef's hat off and reveals Remy's the rat.
Ta-da.
And he has a moment of the food critic has a moment of what the actual fuck?
At first he's like, "Oh, okay, funny joke, whatever." And then
they're like, no.
He's surprisingly on board pretty quick, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
not the health inspector, but
no. Oh yeah, that was another thing. That was something else we missed. The health inspector walked in on the gargantuan amount of rats in the kitchen.
And Remy's dad yells, "Get him, boys!" And this poor health inspector is having a panic attack.
Wouldn't it be great if you guys seen? I'm sorry to digress, everybody, but are y'all John Mulaney fans?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen his first? What's this first stand-up of his called?
I'm
new in town.
New in town, yeah.
Smash a bottle. Scatter!
Scatter!
I want to see a rat smash a beer bottle and just yell, Scatter!
That's what they're thinking all the time.
Yeah. God, if only they had the balls to do that instead of get 'em boys.
Yeah, the rats overtake this health inspector as he's having a panic attack because he's being overran by rats. Mm-hmm. They throw him into the cooler.
It's most people's worst nightmare.
They throw him into the cooler with the sous chef from earlier, and they lock him up, keep him there. They have this whole interaction with the food critic, and they explain what happened to the food critic.
And the whole time, he's just banging his head against the door like, "Help!"
Yeah, no, they were screaming, hollering, trying to kick the door down.
One small plot point we didn't mention that is kind of important to how evil the current owner of Gustav's is that
sous chef.
He wants to turn all their recipes into frozen food entrees and is looking at merchandising and franchising.
Which, to be fair, is kind of a smart strategic move because
As a capitalist, yes, but in terms of like
I mean,
what
that's what
Gustav
Olive
would have
Garden-
wanted,
That's what Olive Garden did.
but you
yes.
can't compare Olive Garden and
Following
Gustav.
the trend
No.
of like food movies, he's doing the soulless move, and that
Yeah,
kinda
he's
makes
doing
him
the
villain.
soulless move.
I mean, good.
He's going
he did
against
not.
the wishes of the man who just died just to make a quick buck, which he would not have supported at all.
It's like
Yeah.
you said about how like the manager in Chef was kind of right. It's not about that. It's a
No.
food movie. You were supposed to feel good and
I
validate
still
our
like
passions.
a regular person who is going into a restaurant like Rose wants the chicken and wants the molten hot lava cake. They don't want to eat like sweetbreads and like sautéed squid.
That's more my
Brody, me and you would go in there and be like, you know what, like I'll try it.
I would eat
I
like
would-
5 plates
I've
of
eaten
squid. You
squid
kidding me?
before.
Squid's awesome.
Huh?
I've eaten squid before.
No, it's the whole squid. They're not battered, and they have
Yes.
they have all the tentacles, and they're sautéed in a pan.
Hell
no,
yeah.
no. That I really have to pinpoint that. That little gasp just gave me. Wait, you eaten squid?
Oh, have you had it's calamari, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you had it like unbattered and like steamed or
I've had
raw?
it steamed. I haven't had it raw. I had it steamed.
Or if you can just get like those little tiny octopuses. And
Yeah,
stuff.
that's what they look like.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, like most people are gonna not stop at a restaurant because that's what they see is on the menu.
Right. They
Like
want
it makes sense. Like you're
Yeah.
pandering to the lowest
So,
common
yeah,
the
denominator.
casual foods, the chicken tenders. And
Yeah, I
whatnots.
mean that's kind of what the sous chef wants to do with the restaurant moving forward.
Mhm.
And at the very end, they had to let the health inspector go. The health inspector closes that restaurant down, but
Because
Linguini,
yeah, of course he would not forgive that.
they're fucking rats.
Millions
In
of
the kitchen.
rats.
You can't have rats in the kitchen. Anyway.
No.
They took me hostage.
Yeah, really. And so they are able to open a different restaurant. Linguini and Colette are able to open a different restaurant at the very end, and
The food critic is there
Critic?
too.
yeah, but he lost his job.
Oh.
He like quits or
Yeah,
something.
He's
He
fine.
changes. He like either changes, quits, or something. But I don't think he's a food critic.
No, I don't think he quit being a food critic. He
No?
wrote up how great the dish was, and then goes to Remy's new restaurant and eats ratatouille like every day. 'Cause
I
it's on the
remember-
menu.
I remember there was another detail I picked up on. Like his whole shtick is like, "Why are you so skinny if you like food?" And it's like, "Well, if I don't like the food, I won't eat it." And then
Yeah.
like at the end, he's actually like gained a few pounds.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
gained some weight. He's eating that
He's actually a
ratatouille every
healthy-
day.
No.
Yeah.
He's got a good
actually
BMI
point.
now.
That's a good point. He's not the food critic is not a healthy weight
No,
because
he's
he's like stick thin and it's like I don't eat this kind of
You could-
food. And then like at the end of the movie, he's gained a few pounds and is actually looking healthier
yeah. You
because
could
he's actually eating food.
you could just dismiss it as like Pixar being like, "I want to make an evil skinny man," but if you actually saw someone like that,
Yeah, it's really hard to judge like a Pixar animated character's like actual body health because they're all exaggerated to represent a certain part of their character.
But I'm not trying to be like, "Oh no, he got fat." It's just like, no, he's actually
He
got
does
like,
look unhealthy. He's pale. He has dark circles. Look, regardless of how spindly his legs are, he is a pale, sickly-looking man.
He's got a good BMI. He can
And a
actually
really
he can
mean
actually
scarf.
survive winter now.
Yeah, really.
Well, and that was Ratatouille.
Yeah, there was a lot of good scenes. in
But
there.
like
Yeah.
that back of house though, that back of house scene, and I guess some of the front of house that's portrayed in Ratatouille is really realistic.
Yeah, I
On
would say
point.
so. I want to talk about. I feel like we've discussed both of probably our two biggest movies that we came
Yeah.
up with in terms of
the two
something.
big food movies we really wanted to get into today.
Yeah, that are the most feel good out of everything. Well, Julia and Julia is a really good feel good movie too.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but
I've only seen it once, and I'll just touch on it really quickly. It's Amy Adams and Meryl Streep,
I
and
have-
Amy Adams is a writer
Mhm.
who is cooking her way through Julia Child's cookbook and blogging about it.
Yeah.
Meryl Streep plays Julia Child, and they just like flash back and forth between like Julia's career and how she became who she is, and then Amy Adams cooking her way through a cookbook.
the only thing I've seen from it is clips of Meryl Streep as Julia Childs just sort of having fun in the kitchen, drinking, cursing, and
Yes.
just being like, "Oh, shut up! Now make this pie."
Yeah,
But then she has like mental
well,
breakdowns when
Julia
she can't
Childs,
make it right.
went to cooking school in Paris too, so it is relevant. That's where she learned her craft there.
Oh, I wonder if she got
When
Remy.
not a lot of women
It
were
was him all
accepted,
along.
and
When
Pulling the hairs.
a lot of women weren't accepted into culinary school and were taken seriously as chefs. Julia Childs was one of the first to do it in such a public way.
I think that was another part of Ratatouille when we first like really see Colette. She just
She's
has like this
not.
big like over it rant of like, yeah, I'm. Everyone always says, oh, they want mommy in the kitchen, but you actually put mommy in the kitchen and no one even respects her there. And it's
No,
Yeah.
women have to work 10 times
and
harder in
she
those
like
environments.
goes in like Colette. All of the staff are terrified of her, and she like could rule the kitchen with an art and
Oh,
this,
absolutely.
but no one lets her. She's like, look, I could be the best chef in this entire fucking kitchen, but nobody's letting me doing so. Nobody respects that I'm here, which is why I'm not even like a sous chef.
What I really want to touch on with Julia and Julia, besides that it is another delightful feel-good movie, it's just a great time all the way around, is Amy Adams is at-home baker and chef, cook, and she's cooking through all these gourmet meals in Julia Child's first cookbook, I believe. So the flashbacks are her writing it and going to
Right.
school for it. Are the mental breakdowns that she has when the recipes don't go well, because I have never related to anything more in a movie.
Mhm.
I cannot tell you how many times I have tried to bake something or cook something and I am just in tears. I'm surrounded by dishes and I'm scraping some slop into the garbage can and going to McDonald's.
Like
It's
baking-
the most relatable thing, and I feel like people who are learning to cook or even who are really good at it don't ever discuss their failures enough, because they're just as plentiful as the successes.
Yeah, no, like growing up, like baking and such, there are so many times where my dad has come home from work and I'm literally like a pile deep of cookies like in the fucking trash can
Yeah.
because
The money you have wasted,
yeah, they
the
didn't
money
taste
you have
right, they looked
wasted,
terrible.
the time you have wasted, and then all the dishes you have to do.
But it's not
Mm.
wasted though, because that's how you grow. That's how you get better.
It is, and sometimes you didn't realize how humid it was. and then everything got fucked.
God.
When you have movies where it's like a rat can do this, just no problem, but
I can't tell you how many times I've called my mom, like, my pound cake didn't come out. She's right. She's like, well, how humid is it today?
Yeah.
Did you compensate the temperature for the humidity? Fuck off. Like, yeah, she cooks in Miami every day, so she's constantly like,
oh yeah.
yeah. My
Yeah, no, the
mom's a
humidity.
professional baker and sells cakes and cookies, so we talk about this a lot.
Yeah, no, the humidity will fuck your shit up.
Yes.
That was a lesson I learned really hard. Was like, how many times have I tried to make this damn cake?
You learn it
one
really
day?
hard, yeah. And you either try again or you don't for a very long time.
Yeah.
It,
was
it's soul
actually-
sucking.
So I went for. I was baking quite almost constantly for a few years, and then I took almost like 3 years away from baking because I just couldn't stand like the taste of my own cooking. Like I couldn't fucking stand how it tasted. And I'm like, all right, I'm just not gonna fucking bake anymore, blah blah blah. And I just kind of stopped baking for a while. And then I start picking it back up, and I'm like, holy shit, this is actually, a decent attempt.
Well, what I was going to say is most people don't like the way that their own food they've been cooking or baking tastes because you've been desensitized to it, because you're smelling it the whole time. You've been
Yeah.
tasting it as it goes, so the final product isn't as good as it would be. And so I always say, like, a sandwich is way better when someone else makes it for you.
Like, I'm sure an experienced baker knows exactly what their dough should look and feel like, but if you're just figuring it out, it's really hard.
It's really hard.
You just don't know if you're doing anything right.
I don't bake breads because of that.
I've dabbled a little bit with bread.
I will say,
Even if you kind of fuck up bread, though, it's still good as long as it's
Yeah.
not gluey. I mean, it's still soda
Yeah.
bread.
I'm just
Stick
gonna-
with soda bread.
I'm just gonna say, I'm a good ass cook. Can't bake for shit.
Brody's really good at cooking.
Oh, hey, we compliment each other. Can't cook for my life. Can't cook. Can't bake.
I adequately do
Together we
both.
create one adequate cook
No, together we create one adequate adult.
person. Yeah.
We can be an adult, Jess.
But I like that in Julie and Julie, and I also like that in Great British Baking Show.
Oh, I love Great British Bake Off.
It's so
isn't
good.
that where the meme where it's like, well, I started with some
yeah.
eggs, had a mental breakdown.
Yep.
There you go.
Bon
Yep,
appetit.
yep, that's it.
I really just like that because I just feel like American cooking like competition shows are just
They're really aggressive.
they're so aggressive and heartless, and it's like there's always
Well,
a
it's
time
all-
limit.
It's more about
It's a competition.
No,
Yeah.
also like
We're
for
very competitive here.
For certain baking or cooking shows, I should say, in the U.S., it's actually more about the head chef being able to run a full kitchen staff,
Mm-hmm.
and then being able to know like how to use different ingredients.
Well, there's tons of baking
hold on.
shows though too.
No, I'm talking about cooking shows like Iron Chef or like Chopped and such.
Yeah.
They actually tell the head chefs what is going to be the ingredients that they have and what the mystery ingredient could be, because they're given like 3 options, and depending on all of the other ingredients laid out is what's going to determine what the mystery ingredient is going to be.
Basically,
So
it's
they
reality
can-
TV show and everything's fake, and they edit you so that way
Yeah.
you think you're watching competition.
Well,
but really it's
kind
not.
of.
Yeah.
Kind of. Cause
Well,
they
I've
tell
heard
them
Iron Chef is actually pretty legit for what it is.
more or less.
Chopped is too. They have those people in that studio for like 15 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Chopped is pretty grueling.
But like what I mean.
Alton
though-
Brown had a cooking show that I liked for a while too. I
That's
don't.
good. But that's sort of like the antithesis of what Great
Yeah,
British
none of
Bake
this
Off
is like
all
the Great
about.
British Bake Off at all.
Which is all very much like everyone's friends.
It's
We're all
pastels.
together.
It takes place in a very nice yard of a castle in a beautiful tent.
Mhm.
It's
It
very
has
magical.
Awesome, like spokespeople.
Yeah, Noel from the Mighty
Noel.
Boosh.
There was one part from the most recent season coming out that I really liked. There was one baker, and she got eliminated, unfortunately. Her
My
name
favorites always get eliminated.
yeah. Her name was Freya, and
Oh, I love that name.
I know, right? She specifically did vegan baking for all of her competitions. And-
well, that's a choice.
That's a whole other choice, and it's like
If
she's
she's
playing
vegan,
her
I
own-
get it, but
Yeah,
it's not going to be as good as the other stuff.
I think that was like her thing. Like, I am vegan, and I want to show like how good vegan baking can actually be.
And you're gone. Bye. Have a
Well,
good time.
Granted,
Wow, apparently
granted, she made it to like mid-level, which is still an
This is
honor.
pretty good for vegan baking.
And even if like being like there's like 1 million people who try it for Great British Bake Off, and like 10 or 12 people actually get on there, it's just an honor to be in there.
Well, it is, and something we didn't touch on, but I was kind of apparent because we segued from Julia and Julia, is that everybody in the Great British Bake Off are all home cooks and bakers. They don't have any professional training. It's just they have full-time jobs, they have families. This is just something they do on the side,
Yeah.
which is so wholesome. That's how you describe it. It's so wholesome. And whenever I try to get anyone to watch it, I'm like, look, it's visual serotonin.
I always took the Great British Baking Show as a way to show the rest of the world that the British can't cook.
Well, you say that, but all the people who really
Well,
like
it's baking.
it's
I
baking.
mean, still.
But I still feel like
find
all the
myself-
people who do really well on that show always come from either German, Indian, or Italian backgrounds.
No, they've had some straight up white people. They've had a few.
Brody
But
makes
I'm
a good point though, because they're people from different ethnicities on that show always pull the more unique flavor combinations.
Yeah,
which,
they always know how to use like different
which
spices.
seems to be
and
on a whole
fruits.
different level from the desserts that we eat here in America. Because I've
Yeah.
definitely had to Google a ton of stuff, but I feel like us as Americans, we do not eat that much fruit in our desserts compared to the
No.
Brits.
We're all chocolate all day.
Well, I don't even like chocolate that much, but
Like, you should give someone a cookie with a
Also,
raisin in
it's,
it,
like,
and they will
heavily-
kill you.
American sweets are far
They
more
are too
heavily
sweet.
like sweetened
Oh yeah, that's a
than
thing.
other countries. So when I went to London for a few days,
well, I've had Cadbury.
well,
Mm.
I'm
From
not even talking
the
about
UK.
Cadbury. It's just
That'll
like
kill
a
you.
It
London
will.
or like an English dessert that I had in London was not as sweet. And I tried it and I was actually rather surprised because me being the slightly uncultured American going to London for the first
Well, there's
time,
a
I didn't know like how sweet their food was going to be.
European desserts in particular are not very sweet. It's more
No.
about like the flavors of what you're eating and the texture.
It was more,
In
far
Cary,
more flavorful.
in Cary, there's actually a traditional German bakery that I've gotten some stuff from, and like I think a great example is the cream puff I had from there, where an American cream puff, when you bite into the whipped cream, it is going to be over the top sweet. There, it's just like a snap, like just a touch of sugar, and it's more about the texture of the bread
it was-
with the cream in it, with the subtle sweetness and the flakiness of the the puff, it's a lot more nuanced, and as I've aged, I find that much more enjoyable than like a Gigi's cupcake.
Yeah. No, the cake that I had over in London was not sweet, but it was far more tasteful and had a lot more flavor than any cake that I've had in the US. I guess I gotta ask, I didn't really get to ask this question for ratatouille though, and I think we all know the answer for it. Was for the dishes from Julie and Julia, the Great British Baking Show, and for ratatouille, which ones would you make?
Would I make, or do I want to eat?
I guess either. Both or either.
I mean, like,
I wanted
Ratatouille
to
has a
Google
pretty
it.
easy answer.
Yeah, Ratatouille has an answer. It's in the name.
What is it? The beef bourguignon,
Beef bourguignon.
Yeah, that Julia
Love
Child's
beef
beef bourguignon.
What is that?
If you don't like brisket, it's like the better version. It's like it's more like Jewish brisket.
It's Julia Child's like star recipe it's like the big thing. Like it's like the final recipe Julia cooks in the movie.
Yeah. It's like a big slow cooked beef drowned
it's
in
like
red wine.
Fancy pot roast.
A lot of vegetables.
Yeah.
Wow.
But there's a process to cooking it. It's a little more complicated than I'm making it sound.
I know like there's a lot of people who've kind of made like the dumbed down crock pot versions of it, but like the real deal French one is like way more elaborate.
Crock pot.
That's what I would want to eat. If we're talking about from everything we've discussed so far, that's what I want someone to make for me.
We need to find a recipe that's just like the slowest cooked, like juiciest meat, because I love crock pot.
If we're talking about
we can do a pork shoulder, Rose.
Yeah.
Yes.
I will do a pork shoulder in my crock pot anytime.
If we're talking about like 3-day cook time for like the best results, our buddy from the restaurant told me about one time he made real deal tonkatsu ramen.
Yo!
Which is like you gotta simmer down some pork for like 3
ramen.
days to get it just right.
That's actually the only ramen I've ever had, and it's the only one I ever order.
It's the best ramen you'll ever get.
I just saw it. I was like, that's for me. And then it's like every time I go to this one ramen place, that's really good. That's all I get. I don't even want to try anything else.
There was this one place in Charlotte I was at. It was like a big it's like right outside of downtown. It's like this big industrial area made into like a big artsy fartsy place, and one of the places there was a real deal tonkatsu ramen like stand, and I'm like, oh, this is the most legit.
That broth though.
That broth.
I could just drink like cups of it every day.
All right, God. So on the topic of food, what is the most iconic ramen shop in anime?
You know what I'm gonna say.
I don't have one. I'm
Brody
trying
and
to think.
Brody and I do.
It's definitely Naruto. It's what's his face's Ichiraku Ramen from Naruto.
Ramen.
The one thing that kept Naruto alive.
He had so much faith in humanity just because of that.
Just because
shop.
one man would give him ramen.
To be fair, after I eat Kentucky
imagine
ramen,
if you had a dad.
Look, and if you have
maybe today
like
doesn't suck as much as I thought it did.
If you have like a real ramen dish.
Mm-hmm.
Just your faith in humanity and its capability to be good.
Especially if it's really cold outside.
Especially
or raining.
if it's really cold.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like, that ramen shop is probably the most iconic anime ramen shop there is. But kind of diving into some of the more iconic anime foods in general, what would you say?
I mean, like
Howl's Moving Castle breakfast scene with Calcifer.
I was gonna say there's so many like Miyazaki movie food scenes we can talk about right now.
Food is really important in all of the Miyazaki Studio Ghibli movies.
Yeah, we should say Studio Ghibli.
Yeah, but
Ghibli.
In particular, the first thing I think of is absolutely the breakfast Sophie cooks for everybody on Calcifer. Tries to. Hal has to come in and finish it.
It's not even like a big elaborate thing. It's literally just breakfast and like bacon and eggs.
Calcifer was so mad. He's like, you can't make me.
May all your bacon burn.
Yeah. and Hal just comes down the stairs. All right, Calcifer, be nice. Don't burn the bacon. No, for me,
it's literally bacon, eggs, and bread, and for some reason, it looks like the most delicious thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
But like the way the oil splatters and the eggs fry up.
It's really the sounds of it all, because like the sounds of breakfast cooking in the morning is one of the most comforting things, I think.
Oh yeah.
It reminds me of my childhood. Back when someone would wake up and cook breakfast for me before I woke up.
That also reminds me of that banquet scene, though, in Spirited Away, with the parents turning into pigs. Like, I know the food looks weird as hell, but why does that look so fucking good?
Yeah, I think there's like one part where the dad like picks up some blobby thing, which
slurps that sucker up, and you're like, why the fuck do I want to do that too?
it could either be a pork liver or a really bad onion, but somehow it looks delicious.
Why does it look so good? And why would I would be turned into a pig too.
Oh, absolutely.
I would have sat right down.
Put me in that boat.
Huh? Yeah.
That would have been the end of my story. I'm just picking.
Yeah, absolutely. I would have not been the protagonist in that movie at all.
No.
Any other anime food we want to talk about?
Ponyo!
She liked ham.
Who doesn't like
I actually just recently learned the trick that the mom character does. So there's a scene where she's just like making ramen for the kids, and she has her own little trick where it's like a little at-home ramen, so it's not like the best, but she just puts the noodles in the bowl, dry noodles, puts in the hot water, and then puts like a plate over it, and then she lifts it up after a minute, and there's all these like eggs and ham and green onions in there.
It's an illusion.
It's an illusion.
Yeah.
Something to entertain kids. But what you do is you just take like a little bit of melted butter and put it on the plate, put all the ramen toppings on there, let it harden up, and then
you put it in the fridge.
You put it in the fridge, solidifies everything.
Yeah, it like glues it to the butter, like solidifies and glues everything to the plate.
Mm-hmm.
So when you put the plate over the steaming hot bowl of water with the ramen noodles, it like thaws out the butter.
Yeah.
So everything just kind of falls onto.
It's not the most practical way of serving, but it's nice for amusing a kid.
Gosh, it's
if we're gonna mention ramen dishes and talk about significant food over the past 2 years, we have to mention Parasite.
Oh
Parasite? Yeah, we
Ramdon.
have to mention the Ramdon.
That made me so angry.
what?
So have you seen Parasite?
No.
Oh my god, well you must. So we were talking about having a movie night. Maybe that's what we should all watch together.
Yeah, we gotta watch Parasite.
We gotta watch it.
I think one of the films
I think that's the one.
Pass on.
Oh
no! You say that now.
No.
I know the premise. I know everything that goes on.
The name.
Oh, so it's ruined for you.
Yeah. I
How is it?
Well, goddamn it!
Like
How
I
is
know
it
the
ruined?
husband lives in the basement.
All right.
I already know that they live in the basement.
It's
Which
important
husband?
to watch.
You vaguely know the plot. You kind of don't know who does what.
Look, I'm just gonna say I've watched it with a lot of people, and every time they start crying and have to call their dad.
It will
It's
floor
that
you.
good of a movie.
It floors you.
But there's the one scene where there's the rich woman, she's the housewife of the big mansion,
He's daddy.
and she's just like, do you know how to make ramdon? It's like you take 2 packaged noodles together.
It's like Japa spaghetti and one other. I can't remember because I looked up into trying to make it myself. But yeah, it's 2 very specific kinds of ramen.
It's like, we also have some sirloin in the freezer.
Which,
Put that in there.
Side note, steak in Korea is extremely expensive.
And it's sirloin, so it's like the top tier.
Yeah, like so that's like meat that this family that is working for this wealthier family. It's the mother of the working family that is at home with the children, who's going to cook it.
Yeah.
She's the housekeeper. And I guarantee you, in years, maybe even longer, they've never had a piece of meat that good in their lives. Even if you don't want to watch the movie, if it's not...
Which you should.
But you really should. But if subtitles aren't your thing, or if you don't like thrillers, you can look up the scene where they cook and eat this dish, because it really does look amazing. And I would love to try it.
Yeah.
Is there any other food movies we want to mention real quick, guys?
Cloudy with a chance of meatballs.
No! It's not the same. We went over this before when we did notes. I told you I was going to mock you if you brought this up.
Taco Dinos!
Who cares about Taco Dinos? No.
Is that in the second one, though?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've only seen the first one.
Look, here's my big...
Such your food, Jeff. Such your food.
Here's my gripe.
Such your food.
We've been here talking about how food requires passion and love to make, and understanding yourself and your artistry.
Yes, but you're living in the...
This shit falls out the sky.
The Flim de Fleur makes it.
It makes it. It turns water into food.
It's a machine.
It turns water into food. How is that made?
Bill Hader had to make that for everybody, okay?
Okay, Bill Hader's cool. Everything else is bad.
Mr. T's also in this movie.
Well, Mr. T's a has-been.
His
Just saying.
doesn't his chest hairs tingle when there's trouble?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes, I do. He's like, clenching hands are tingling.
Yeah.
Look, it's not a food movie.
It's like not a food movie, but it is overtly just about
There's-
food. All at the same time.
It's a food movie. It's not a food movie. It's just a movie about food. There's no culinary passion.
Well, what about the amazing restaurant scene where, like, there's a restaurant in this city? I'm gonna assume everybody knows what this movie is, even if you haven't seen it. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs kind of surmises everything. It rains food. It rains food in a town where all they can eat is sardines.
That's the plot.
Hold on. The children's book is about this kid. He's like, oh, what if food, fell from the sky? And it literally rains meatballs and a few other ones for like a day or two. And that's the story.
IRL, he's daydreaming and staring out of his window in school. It's wonderful.
It's like the period right before lunch.
It is.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, it is like a wholesome, very short kid story that the movie is based off of. But the movie takes a premise where the premise of like quote unquote Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs and turns it into a literal thing for film. And Flynn,
He
main
just
character,
needs to make a machine
he
that
created
uses
a
water
machine
to
that-
make food, and it gets shot up into the sky. And oh, what luck! His girlfriend's also a meteorologist. And it starts raining food in this really small town that's an island that's covered up on the world map by letters. Their big export sardines. All they eat is sardines, and now they have all this amazing food falling from the sky, and it becomes like a tourist trap. But of course, the machine malfunctions, yada yada yada. That's not really the point. Like what's good about this movie is when it rains ice cream on some kid's birthday, and they get to sled down giant mounds of ice cream. Wouldn't that be amazing?
yes, it would. And in the second one, they
You know what else is amazing?
They abandoned. Hold up. They at the very end of the first movie, they all kind of leave the island that they were from because they can't live there.
They're just
They're
rotten
like-
food.
Yeah,
Realistically, it's a nightmare.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
a nightmare.
yeah.
They can't live there, so they all move out. And I'm still, FYI, I'm still
I-
looking for the damn cookbook.
I have
I'm
a
going
dumb-
to find it. Before
I
the
have a
end of
dumb
this
question while you do your Google. Is it vegan if it's made out of water?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I guess
that's
it
a really
would.
good point because everything else would have to be synthetic.
Yeah, like
Correct?
if you-
Like
Yeah, it
it
would
wouldn't
have
be.
If I'm following the logic of Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs perfectly, there's a machine that takes water and does some weird ass alchemy and turns it into cow.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So that's vegan, right?
it's like it
Yeah.
has to be because it's like lab grown cow. It's not real cow.
It's beyond meat.
Yeah, the great beyond
The
in
great
the sky.
Mm.
Oh, what I was saying earlier, though, there is a restaurant, I've only seen the first movie, but there's a restaurant that opens up in town, and it doesn't have a roof, and the menu is whatever. It starts raining, and they just hold up their plates and wait for
What a
everything to
shitty
fall.
business plan. Why would you pay money for that?
I don't know if they're paying money. It wasn't really addressed. It's a really fun animated movie. It's not like an award winner by any means, but it's a good time.
It's not a serious good food movie.
It's not a serious movie at all.
Success! I
What?
fucking found it!
We found it.
Yes.
We were having a quick Google break for something very specific that Rose wanted to mention.
That has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
No,
right now.
well, kind of.
Oh, a little bit.
So,
It's foodie.
this
We don't need
book,
we don't need to talk about Skyrim food. We can do that another day.
No, it's not even Skyrim, I told
Oh.
you. But it did lead, looking up for that damn book did lead
Oh, I thought.
me to it.
If you want
It
to learn
is
how to make sweet
the-
rolls.
The official Avatar The Last Airbender cookbook.
Ooh.
They're also in Fallout. I'm sure the Fallout
Yeah, the
cookbook is
Fallout,
foul.
I found the Fallout
Yeah.
one too.
I'm looking at this. You know I love me some Avatar. Mung bean and tofu curry. Monkey Atzo's fruit pies. I love that. Oh. Jasmine green tea. That's nice.
Green tea's delicious.
Sizzle crisps.
This is why I wanted it so
I'm
badly.
just seeing like a picture of some what I can only assume is some burnt ass bacon. And
They
it's
all
just-
go bacon burn.
Look,
and it's
the
sizzle
names-
crisps.
The names of these recipes are just like, that's why I wanted to bring it up.
That's a
so
fun
badly.
one because like I remember like all of the animals are fictitious, so it's like I wonder if I can find some sea cucumbers for dinner
Well,
tonight.
One of the other episodes we recorded recently.
Sea
from
cucumbers
what you
are
guys
real, but they
told me,
sound fake.
They do sound fake. Is that all the animals in Avatar are a combination of two animals?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you just mix two things together. and
Except
boom.
for the bear.
I'm sure somebody out there has bear.
Yeah. There's like the whole thing where it's like the guy's being attacked by a
Oh,
platypus
Rose
bear.
is showing me an Adventure Time cookbook, and
Brody made a
I'm
face.
sure there's like a whole chapter that's just Jake burritoing whatever's in the fridge.
Or just bacon pancakes.
Making bacon
I
pancakes.
also found the Assassin's Creed cookbook.
What do they have?
I don't
Man,
know.
a lot of these are
Like,
unofficial.
You know, I take
too.
that back. There's like 3 of them that take place in Italy.
most of these are official.
The Skyrim one is unofficial.
The Skyrim one is unofficial, but the Avatar: The Last Airbender, that's an official Nickelodeon.
I don't know if it's official, but you definitely showed me the Ichiraki ramen while we were talking Naruto.
Yeah, I did.
Also, just like there's a lot of other like recipe adaptations from films and TV stuff. Look up the YouTube channel Basics, or not Basics. Well,
Binging
Basics.
with Babish.
Binging with Babish.
It's wonderful.
It's a culinary senses. It'll please you. It'll make you happy. Binging with
I
Babish.
think he got really popular doing all the Bob's Burgers.
He did the Bob's
Yeah,
Burgers.
the Bob's Burgers, which is really
has
cool.
the cookbook. I don't know if that's official or not.
I think it is
That would be a
official.
good one.
Yeah, that would be fun. Well, because who doesn't love a burger?
All right,
That-
let me go
that-
and find.
That also
try to find
proposes
one.
another thing. Like, are there any like big fictitious foods that you'd want to eat?
A
Oh.
dinosaur taco.
When we first discussed this premise, the first thing that popped into my head was definitely the Hook and the Lost Boys scene with Peter Pan, Robin Williams as Peter Pan, and all the Lost Boys and Rufio sitting down for their imaginary food/food fight.
Also, just a side note, how fucking pleasant, wonderful, and comforting is the movie Hook?
It's so good.
So
Rose has never seen it.
Never seen it to completion. Allow me to kind of pinpoint that.
Rufio. You get that, right?
No.
Ow.
What about Bangarang?
Yes.
Okay.
You've seen like the dinner scene though, right?
Maybe. It's been years.
So it starts with all the big long table and all the Robin Williams as Peter Pan and the Lost Boys sitting around. They like take everything out and all the plates are empty and it's like, oh, cool.
It's all like a plot point for Robin Williams, who is Peter Pan, to learn how to use his imagination again, which he has been struggling with because he's a businessman who does business things.
Yeah. And as soon as he learns how to imagine the food and use his imagination, the food like appears.
And it looks like if a colorful pastel trifle just threw up everywhere.
Yeah.
But like in the best way possible. Like it's constructed.
Everything's colorful and creamy looking and soft.
Yeah, and like well, it's really good for them to have the food fight with after. But there's the it just looks like the most amazing time. And I remember as a kid being like, I wish I could do that. Like I wish I could will a table of food into existence, a la Harry Potter and the Great Hall. Even though I know it's the house elves pushing it up, I still wish I could do it.
I just googled this. None of them are official, but there are like 5 different versions of the Bob's Burgers cookbook. So one of you guys will have to go and pick your favorite version.
I'm sure we can just Google recipes for that. I mean,
I'm sure if we had to pick another like fictitious like food or restaurant, Bob's Burgers. Bob knows what's up with his burgers.
Yeah, he knows what's up, but there's never anyone in
Wizards
there.
of Waverly
Yeah, it's
Place.
perfect. I sit in the back, order the burger of the day, keep to myself, have some headphones on, and just enjoy myself.
I would probably go to the sandwich shop from Wizards of Waverly Place. You guys?
A fictitious restaurant I would go to. Shit.
I know
We didn't rehearse this. No, I know that's a really good question. I'm trying to think.
For me,
you want to know where I really want to go? Do you guys watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Oh my god, yes.
So that fish restaurant that they always go to, that they turn that hotel lobby into a restaurant for every episode. I want to go eat there with the gang. I want to try the what is the red snapper? There's always some fish they want that they're out of.
I've eaten at the 3 Broomsticks.
Oh, the real one? Wait.
The one in Universal Studios?
Oh, I have 2, yeah.
Yeah. The 3 Broomsticks, it's amazing. Like,
actually, I don't think I ate in there. I think I went in and said, fuck this, and left. It was really crowded.
It is well.
I did get a butterbeer though.
Gotta get the butterbeer.
No, you have like when you get a butterbeer, you have to get. And I mean, have to get because this is one of the coolest souvenirs you will ever get. Have to get it in a souvenir glass because they change. I have two. I have the original.
Oh, I didn't do that. I thought
mug.
they were trying to rip me off.
No, the original butterbeer mug I have when they like.
I got frozen
opened,
butterbeer
Me too.
because it's hot as shit in Orlando.
It is. When you go get, like, I have the original one that they opened with. So they opened the restaurant and they had one type of mug. And then the next time I went, they actually changed the mug style.
Well, that's really cool.
So I have both of, like, the two original mugs.
You know, I'm reflecting on my last few visits to Islands of Adventure, and I, for some reason, always end up eating in the Lost World Jurassic Park. Because they do rice and chicken bowls there, and I'm always like, yep, because I've been drinking and eating like shit. I need to just go eat some chicken and some rice and vegetables.
Yes. But if you go to a place like that, one of the coolest, and it's well worth.
Eating in Whoville is cool too, because that's where you get all the chicken tendies and stuff.
Yes.
It's where you get the chicken tendies, and the inside decorations are top tier.
Gertie is like playing with Brody.
Yeah.
I'm just like.
We're glad it's finally happening.
Karate chop.
But yeah, I would really like to eat at that restaurant from It's Always Sunny because they just always talk about how it's the best, and I never actually see them eat anything there. And I think it would be funny to get a really nice meal and then watch the gig cost some shit.
Like the big thing that we're all taking away is that like it's always just a symbol for like love and passion.
Yeah, nurturing. You're nurturing those around you with your food, like literally and figuratively nurturing
You're putting
them.
a little bit of yourself in everything you make, and I think that really resonates with a lot of things. Metaphorically, unless you're Hannibal Lecter.
Well, we've all had food made with hate, and it really doesn't taste as good,
Oh,
even if you're just making it
We've
for
all been to
yourself.
Waffle House, yeah.
No, not Waffle House. They make all their food with love.
No, okay.
I've never had a bad
Did you know
bad
that-
experience at Waffle House, at least with the food.
Did you know that FEMA has a Waffle House indicator?
Yeah,
Yes.
I know, right?
Yeah.
What is it for the people listening at home?
So, if you don't know this, FEMA has, which is the federal FEMA,
They're
Federal
like-
Emergency something.
Mandatory
They're like the
evacuation,
first people
or-
who
it
like
doesn't
help
matter.
out
It's
with
just an
flooding and
evacuation
natural
with the-
disasters.
Yeah.
Yada yada.
So, one of the ways they found out that there is a certain number of waffle
Sorry,
houses.
I'm still just laughing over you going federal and then EMA.
That
was really good.
Yes, the federal EMA.
No, I loved it. It's like, yeah, that's a great. It's a federal organization. That's all we know.
So, like Brody said, they were one of like the first responders to move in after a massive like natural or man-made disaster, and in the U.S. And they found out that there are a certain number of Waffle Houses within a region or urban area. If most or half of your Waffle Houses are closed, that is like an indicator to
That
show
everything should be closed.
that no, how fucked you are, like how fucked your community is. Because if people are still going to work at fucking Waffle House after a hurricane, you're fine.
Yeah,
Well,
it probably wasn't a bad
And you guys are
hurricane.
envisioning a big crew if you don't know, because they don't have Waffle Houses up north. But it's literally like you
They do.
only need 2 people to run that bitch.
No,
Yeah.
you do have Waffle Houses up north.
Do you?
Are there- What's
no,
the
it's a
most
southern
northern
thing.
Waffle House?
I don't know.
I'm
Maybe
googling it.
Kentucky? I was under the impression it's a southern chain because when Anthony Bourdain goes to South Carolina, he goes to Waffle House.
Can we just talk about Anthony Bourdain for a
Oh,
We can do it.
yes.
Why didn't we? We just need to, make
Well, I
him
mean,
rest
it
in
just goes
peace.
back to him being like, it's all about having fun, and it's and just to go back, the most I just googled most northern Waffle House, Ohio.
Ohio.
That sounds about right.
That's
Actually,
about right.
I have family in Ohio.
But yeah, Anthony Bourdain, because like he's another one of those
Fucking
fishy
legend.
characters who worked back of house.
His book is amazing. If you haven't read it, Kitchen Confidential, everyone should read it. It's wonderful.
He worked every job in the restaurant industry. He's a fucking legend.
I think he also has a documentary coming out called Roadrunner.
Yeah.
That may have come out by now.
I just
and
love
I've
how
missed
he
it.
describes his back of house crew as like pirates, and every day they're
Oh, that's
just
exactly
taking
what
on
it
the world.
is.
Yeah,
It's a crew. They're some savvy characters.
yeah, to say the least.
We're all
Fueled by
characters
cocaine
from
and
Hook.
ale.
Mm-hmm.
We're all characters from Hook.
Yeah. Shoot.
Rose, you haven't seen.
Which is why I could say that.
They're all a bunch of children imagining everything together in that
Okay,
back of
look,
house.
If you work in a restaurant, you are an overgrown child. Because there's no way you can actually stand the amount of Karens who walk through that door without losing their
Oh
head.
my god, the Karens.
The fucking Karens.
Do y'all have any good Karen stories?
No. Good? No. I don't have anything good to say.
I
about
have one
people
good
like that.
one
Oh,
that I.
you gotta share.
And like, of course, like there's probably better Karen stories from people who've worked in restaurants.
Well, if you say one and one might. Oh, I actually do have a good one, but it's not that.
I'll say
you
mine
go
first.
with yours, Brody.
So-
Brody first.
I was working in Greensboro, North Carolina. It was the same taco shop from like the other person who just fucked up his order and blamed everyone else.
Okay.
And I was hosting there for a little bit, and it's North Carolina. And the thing about North Carolina is we always have Pepsi
Yeah.
Yeah.
because North Carolina's
Pepsi's
a Pepsi
Carolinas.
product, and we never shut up about it.
Yeah, New Bern, North Carolina is the home of Pepsi.
Yeah,
We have to.
we got it. You got to
Yeah.
represent the brand. It's
like
probably
a-
also way cheaper to buy within the state.
Yeah, probably. But
Well, I don't know the
But
logistics
anyways,
of that, but I do
I'm-
know that their response time for repairs and whatnot are really good compared to other services I have.
Other companies that.
Coca-Cola.
But I was working like front of house doing host stuff, and I had one woman come in. She's just like, "Hey, I want to look at the menu, this, yada yada yada, everything looks good. Do y'all have Coke or Pepsi products?" And I'm just like, "Oh, we have Pepsi products." And she's just like, "What? No, fuck you. Are you telling me you have Pepsi products? This is America." I will never forget the way she screamed, "This is America" at me.
Oh, I have a good.
Had the Childish Gambino song come out yet?
That's exactly. I'm sure that's what that was about. And I didn't take her serious. So I'm just like, I mean, Pepsi's from North Carolina. Pepsi's American. And she's just like, "No, we're leaving. We're going to the fancy restaurant up the road." And I'm
They're
like,
gonna have Pepsi too.
"Are you really about to fucking Karen your way out of this restaurant and go to something with like a $30 steak so you can drink fucking Coca-Cola?"
Coca-Cola.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, people do. People are so weird about the food that they eat.
And one of
People
my,
are
and
just weird about the restaurants in general.
they're just strange. And that she had a friend with her, and I could tell like she was trying to calm her down and stuff. And it's like, "Whoa, no, hold on. You guys have beer, right?" And it's like, "Yeah, we have beer." And it's like, "See, they have something you'll drink."
They don't have Bud Light though.
It's always the
So
best friend
What?
of the, hold on.
This is America.
The best friend of the Karen is always like the best.
Don't
person.
catch you sipping now. I'm
The
sorry.
best-
I'm cutting
you had to
that
say
out.
it. No, don't do it. You're not allowed to. Someone say something really poignant right now. So I don't have any. I probably have a slew of instances like that. I've been working in restaurants forever, but one that like actually haunts me from when I was younger. I was working hibachi when I lived in Colorado, and I had like 3 tables, and mind you, that's at least like 15 people per table.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really busy. My manager was just dicking around by the bar, and I had a mother and a daughter that kind of did fall by the wayside at one table because the other people on the side were like an 8 top that required more attention, and I was overwhelmed. So at the end, they call me over, and they're upset, and I'm like, yeah, a lot of stuff to get around, but like, hey, you have a coupon, we can use it. Turns out it was like a fucking holiday I didn't know about, and I couldn't use the coupon, and my manager was like, no, it's a holiday, we can't use the coupon. So I go back and tell this woman, hey, I'm sorry, I told you we could use that coupon, but today's actually this holiday, and we can't use it. She proceeds to just berate the shit out of me. I'm already having like a really bad day, and my manager comes over, and she is literally screaming at him about me because I am just smiling at her while she's yelling at me and I don't seem upset enough. She's literally bitching my manager out because I'm not upset enough at the things she is saying to me.
Yeah.
And because I look happy, and I'm like, look, lady, I got a poker face, man. I am so upset on the inside right now, but you're not going to see that shit. And that was still, like, to this day, probably one of the weirdest Like, you are here on a 5 o'clock dinner with your fucking daughter spending $80 on sushi. I wish my life was that good. Fuck off. Like, I don't care.
I have one. I just remembered this.
Is it the
Okay.
trash story? Tell the trash
The
story.
trash story.
Oh, this is bad.
Oh, Lord.
yeah.
Oh my god, this chick was weird to begin with. So
She wasn't even a customer.
no, she wasn't.
She wasn't even a customer.
She was
Okay.
just somebody.
Yeah, no, somebody who literally just walked in. Okay, so this lady It's summer era. It's like the late morning shift. The hosts haven't come in yet. We're about to transition from morning to night crew, but like that transition is still about an hour, maybe 2 hours away. Yeah. Right? Just to give you kind of the time frame of when this happens. This lady comes in. She's got a coffee cup in her hand. She comes up to me, and I'm talking to her. She goes, "Do you have beer?" I'm like, "Yes, ma'am. This is a beer garden. We have a craft beer selection. We don't carry any of the domestic beers, but we have a variety of beers that you may be interested in trying." So I spend like 5 fucking minutes with this lady trying to pick out a beer. So we pick out a beer. I expect her to either take a damn table or go to the bar.
Right.
Lady's like, "I'll come back." My fucking God, I just spent 5 minutes with you.
Yeah.
Picking out a goddamn beer. And now you're going to tell me that you're going to come back later. All right. Smile. All right. And I go, "Yes, ma'am. Of course. You know, feel free to join us whenever you want." She walks away, goes out of the restaurant, goes outside. We have a patio seating area that's covered by a fence.
Yeah.
Goes outside of the fence and starts talking to every other table that's out there.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, I'm looking at her.
Big red flag right there.
I'm looking at her. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I go about my time. I completely forget about this woman because it's 10 minutes later. Most of the people who say, I'll come back, never fucking do.
Right, that's just their polite way of being like, "I need an out," or something like that.
Yeah, it's like they never fucking do.
She wanted free beer samples. And that's why you always have to be like, "Look, go grab a table and we'll help you."
So, about 2 hours later, shift change is occurring, and I see one of the coworkers for night crew going up to this woman, and I look over, and it's the same lady from earlier, but she still has her damn coffee cup. So I go up to my coworker. I'm like, "Hey, I helped this lady already. I'll, help her. I can work with her." I dismiss my coworker. She walks away, and this lady is like, "Do you have a garbage can?" We don't have a garbage can out on our floor, and on our floor means like in the dining area. Right. We do have garbage cans in the back. It's not a really big deal if a customer comes up and is like, "Hey, can you throw this out for me because I don't see a trash can?"
Yes, whatever.
There are also trash cans that are maintained by the plaza, less than 10 feet from our fence.
Yeah, it still goes to a sidewalk where there are always public trash cans.
Yeah, I mean,
within plain sight.
Yes. This woman, had she turned around, she would have seen the fucking trash can when she was talking to our tables while she was standing outside of our fence.
Right.
This lady's like, "You don't have a trash can?" I'm like, "No, ma'am, we don't have any out on the floor, but we do have some in the back. I can throw out your coffee cup for you." This lady goes, "What do you mean you don't have trash can?" I'm like, "Ma'am, we have them in the back." It starts getting louder and louder as she starts screaming in my face about not having a trash can out on the floor. I am starting
Ma'am, trash cans are for customers only, but this is North Carolina, so all of our bathrooms are public. If you just walked your ass over to one, you would see there's a trash can in there.
Yeah. There's so many solutions to a problem that she's trying to
She just wanted somebody to yell at that day, and that's like ultimately what this is all about.
So our manager is on staff. Jess wasn't managing that day. But our manager on shift is less than 20 feet from me and helping a table. The table is in plain sight, and one of the party people, or one of our customers sitting at that party, I just so happened to make eye contact with him, and this lady is like, as her volume is starting to ramp up, like the entire restaurant at the top of her voice can hear her.
Yeah.
As she's starting to progressively get louder, I'm starting to freak out and panic. So I start doing little eye contact with our customer. Customer finally goes to the manager, "Hey, I think you need to help your server." The manager whirls around and books it over to me just as this lady hits the highest volume she can and starts screaming at my face. I turn on my heel and I flee. When I say I flee, I fled to the back. 1 second I was there, another I was gone. I fled to the fucking back. Manager chases after me to make sure that I'm okay, because all she saw was me fucking book it as soon as she came over to the customer. And I broke down crying because I was not prepared to deal with this bitch yelling at my face.
Specifically, just
because
very
of a
in
fucking
your
trash
face.
can.
Yeah, fucking trash can.
So, like, I go through.
Be kind to those that help you every day with anything that you need to get
So
done.
I'm like
That's
in
the
the
moral
back
of this.
Really?
crying, and the
and
rest,
if you're hangry,
get a fucking beer.
get a Snickers.
Go eat a Snickers.
Satisfied?
Grab a beer. Right. So I'm crying. Night crew. The rest of night crew comes in, and the first thing that one of my coworkers goes, she looks at me and goes, "Who do I have to fight? I don't fucking care. Where is he?" I'm like, "It was a woman. All right, which bitch do I have to beat down?"
Nice.
And I'm like, "Look, I love you, but she's gone because apparently she like got kicked out or something in between me fleeing and like she just either left or got kicked out or whatever." So fast forward about a half hour later, I've calmed down, I've clocked out, I'm sitting with one of our regulars. And the regular looks to me. He's this old British gentleman. Let's call him
G.
Yeah, let's call him G.
Let's call him Ron Weasley.
He would love that. Come on. So Ron looks at
He
me.
doesn't know who the fuck that is.
He's
Probably
British, he
not.
knows.
He's British.
He'll know him as Rupert Grint.
Okay, so we're sitting around with Rupert.
Yeah, he looks to me and he's like, "Didn't I hand you some trash like an hour before?"
And that's
'Cause
what he does.
I looked around and I'm like, he's like, "Do you have a trash can?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll just throw it away. That's no problem." An hour later, this lady comes back in to scream at me, and he looks at me. He goes, "Wow, quite the show." And our bartender, let's call him Bruce Wayne.
He would love
Oh, okay. His name is
old.
Robin.
that.
Dick Grayson. Can we call him Dick?
And I think
We'll
he, was,
settle
I think
on
he
Dick.
would like that too. No, it's Robin.
Robin.
It's
Okay.
It's the most insulting thing we can say.
Okay, so Robin comes over to me because I'm sitting at the bar, and like tear-streaked face because I'm like trying to calm down.
Mhm.
Robin comes right up to me and says, "God damn it, Rose! I wish I had the crazy ones. The crazy ones never come to me because I know exactly how to like get them to leave."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Well, next time someone comes yelling in about a trash can, I'll politely direct them to you, okay?"
Yeah, you should.
And
Robin
then,
will save the day on that one.
and then Jess, oh man, Jess was pissed when she heard about this.
I felt like you weren't backed up and supported correctly, if I'm being honest with you, in that time. I also gave Rose their favorite cider sign too, to
I
compensate
love-
for the pain.
I love Ace ciders. Ace is my favorite.
Ace pineapple is really fucking bomb.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
it
if
is.
you need some sugar, get some Ace pineapple.
So I know we've just touched on like a few of the negative experience we've had in restaurants, but like ultimately I've had way more good than bad.
Oh yeah, no, it's been
As a
good.
customer
the
and
bad
as an
ones
employee.
just stick with you, you know.
Well, there is one good story. Kind of just top it off with like a nice good feeling. I had a really shit day, and this is like really early on when I just around the time I finished training. So about 3 years ago, I had a really shit
God, it's been
day.
that
I was
long.
like really rough on myself. I don't know. I've been stressed all day, and the chef turns to me and threw an orange. She's like, "Rose." I'm like, "Yes." She threw an orange at me and said, "Look, you're gonna have good days, you're gonna have bad days, but don't let the bad days outweigh the good." And I looked down at the orange, I looked back at her, and she goes, "Don't tell anyone." And I'm like, this is how you support your staff.
Yeah.
But I just like,
I'm pretty sure it was a clementine.
it was like,
Yeah, because she tosses those around.
She
Yeah,
loves
she
loves
loves
food
it.
fights.
No, really, she wants to make sure everybody gets enough vitamin C so they don't get sick and call out.
but it was just like that sentiment though of her recognizing, like, look, you had a bad day, you know, here's just something like a little silver lining.
Yeah.
You know,
We will have an episode probably coming up sooner rather than later where we will be watching Waiting and putting in
talking
our
about
2
Waiting.
cents.
Yeah.
We'll have a more full-blown restaurant industry discussion and a discussion of that movie, which is
Yeah.
one of my favorite dumb comedies of all time.
It's a dumb comedy, but if you watch it and you get it, you just get it.
I'm excited to see it. I've never seen it.
Oh, Rose, you're going to love it. We'll have to watch it together.
Yeah.
Any other final thoughts for the days, guys? I feel like we covered a lot of really good stuff.
Okay, as a closer, I have the best question. But
Okay.
Brody,
Yeah. Oh,
can you
no,
finish
go for it.
No. This is probably better than that.
We can do both and see which one works.
Okay, what is the one food, fictional, real, whatever, from like all of the franchises, or even like not from a franchise.
Of all
that
of
we
like fiction
And all of existence
written
and
or-
Yes.
fiction and like non-fiction.
What is the one food you will never eat?
never eat.
No.
There
Okay.
isn't anything that I won't try. I don't think.
I mean, yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm a foodie. I'll try anything once unless I'm allergic to it.
I've pushed a lot
I
of
need
limits.
to think about that one a little bit.
I will have to answer that next time. Actually, So, for example, like I had duck liver pate not too long ago, and I never
Ooh.
thought that would be something that I would like. But I was very down to try it, and I enjoyed it. And same with raw octopus and raw scallops. I never thought that would be something that I would eat. And
I have something. I have an answer. Have y'all played Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild?
a little bit, and we don't need to
That's
talk
on
about how
So there's
little I've
like
played.
there's like a small cooking element, and if you really fuck up, you get something called dubious food,
Oh no.
which is
Yeah, but sometimes the dubious food you make, you're like, whatever. I know this would be good.
yeah, but like the fact that they don't even show it to you and they have to
Ooh.
pixelate it on the menu, and it's just like
It's shit.
if using my keen eye for detail, I can assume it's like a purple chicken wing with some green stuff on it.
Well, it's like a void chicken from Stardew Valley.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking like if there's a food item so bad that they won't even show it in the game, it's probably not great.
So,
I think this should be posted near Thanksgiving, if not on it.
Soon enough.
Yeah, soon
at
enough.
some point,
Mhm.
we'll get up there.
But I hope everybody, even if you're not celebrating, has a wonderful day
Yeah.
on Thanksgiving.
I hope you know the true history of Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we don't have to get into that. We said fuck Christopher Columbus enough in the last episode or
No,
two.
but we do have to acknowledge how shitty of a holiday Thanksgiving is.
Yeah,
So
that's
if you want to
true.
know why,
You're allowed
go
to.
Google it.
Yeah, you're allowed to enjoy it, but you gotta know the history.
Yeah,
You know the true history. 'Cause
for me, it's about just getting together with my family and spending time together
Yeah.
and eating. Very
Yeah.
little to do with the actual history of.
The history is important, but
But
sitting
just
down with the
enjoy
meal with
with
your
the
with your
friends
family,
and
that's what it's
family.
about.
Yeah, it is.
So.
And I hope you survive it.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
For everyone who hates their in-laws, best of luck.
There will be a bar.
The
open
holidays
somewhere.
are among
Oh, yeah,
us.
But I'm also gonna say, like,
The
don't
holidays
go
are
to a
coming.
bar. Don't make people have to work on Thanksgiving and Christmas. Like,
No, that's fine. Cause
Cook for
everyone-
yourself.
no, don't go out.
Stock up. Actually, you know what? Yeah, Jess is right. Stock
No.
up on alcohol.
Stock up. Don't
Yep.
just. It's 2 days. Don't go out. Don't make people who get stuck working those shifts every year have to work. They want to be with their family. I mean, some people do want to make money, but I'm telling you, like, most
There
of
is
them.
no money to be made.
No, most of
But-
them want to be at home with their families. Don't go fucking out. Don't
Go
do
to the
it.
store. Make a list of all the alcohol that you like, all the everything that's gonna get you through
Mhm.
the next few days.
Doesn't have to be the good stuff. It just has to be a lot of it.
Yeah. That's the.
And be like me and just play some Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Or get that PC out and just ignore the world.
Yeah.
Play a video game, read a book.
Stay inside. Play video games. Don't talk to anyone.
Yeah,
Have
don't
a good
go anywhere.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't go outside.
Yeah, have a happy Thanksgiving from One Frame Off.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks, guys.